Severance fans, we finally made it to the season 2 finale, and I don't even know where to begin. Episode 10, Cold Harbor, took everything we thought that we knew and flipped it on its head. We've got some long-awaited answers, major character developments, and of course, new mysteries that left us screaming at our screens. Today we're diving deep into the biggest twist and hidden details in episode 10, what Lumon is really planning, wild theories about Mark, Gemma, and Kier Eagan, and season 3 predictions that will blow your mind. So grab your MDR coffee, hit that like button, and let's get into it. Let's start by breaking down what actually happened in the season 2 finale, because this episode was packed with reveals, shocking choices, and a few details that might hint at what's coming next. One of the biggest twists in the finale was Mark forming a risky alliance with, believe it or not, Cobel. This is huge because Cobel has always been Lumon's most devoted servant. So what's changed? Is she really betraying the company, or is she just playing both sides? I have a wild theory. Cobel doesn't just want to help Mark, she wants to take Lumon over for herself. Think about it. She's been obsessed with Kier's teachings, but disgusted by the Eagan family. She knows too much about the Severance program, and she's seen how weak Lumon leadership really is. So what if she's not trying to destroy Lumon, she's trying to replace its leadership? That would make her one of the biggest threats heading into season 3. Gemma escaped, but at what cost? After 2 full seasons of build-up, we finally saw Gemma escape from Lumon. But here's the heartbreaking twist. Mark didn't go with her. Why? At first, it feels like a huge mistake. But what if Mark knows something that we don't? There are 2 major theories floating around. One, Mark suspects Lumon has another layer of control over him. What if he can't leave because his mind is programmed to stay? What if they've implemented a failsafe that prevents his any from escaping? 2, Gemma isn't actually free. Yes, she's outside, but who's waiting for her out there? Is she being watched? Did Lumon plan for her to escape? Either way, this moment is far from over. I guarantee that season 3 will be all about Mark and Gemma finding each other again, but at a devastating cost. Miss Huang's fate, a global conspiracy. Okay, we need to talk about Miss Huang's reassignment to Svalbard. On the surface, it seems like she's just being punished for helping Mark's team. But why Svalbard? Svalbard is a remote Arctic location, but did you know it's home to something called the Global Seed Vault? It's a facility that stores genetic material from plants all over the world in case of a catastrophe. So what if Lumon is doing something similar with people? Could Lumon be storing severed workers somewhere far from the public eye? Is Svalbard a hidden testing ground for a bigger experiment? That would mean Lumon's reach isn't just corporate, it's global. All right, let's talk about the huge hidden clues in the season 2 finale that might be huge foreshadowing for what's coming next. The title of this episode, Cold Harbor, isn't just a cool name, it might be a major clue. Historically, Cold Harbor was a brutal Civil War battle where soldiers knew they wouldn't survive, but they were sent in anyway. So what if Cold Harbor is a metaphor for the severed workers? Are they being sacrificed for a bigger purpose? Is Lumon using them in a war we don't even understand yet? And who's really in control of this experiment? This could hint that Mark and his team are walking into a trap in season 3. 2, is Kier Eagan still alive? One of the wildest fan theories is that Kier Eagan is still alive. We know that Lumon's inner circle treats Kier like a living god, but what if he actually is? Could Kier have uploaded his consciousness into Lumon's severance system? That would explain why severed workers are so loyal to him, why some employees seem programmed to obey, and why Lumon is so obsessed with controlling memory. If this is true, Mark, Dylan, and Helly aren't just fighting against the company, they're fighting against an immortal Kier Eagan. Mark's final stand, can he free the severed? Mark is still trapped in Lumon, and now that Jim is outside, we might see parallel storylines. Her trying to expose the company, and Mark trying to fight from the inside. Could season 3 be the final battle against Lumon? The truth about Svalbard. If Lumon is using Svalbard as a testing ground, then the real world isn't as free as we thought. What if season 3 reveals that Severance is spreading worldwide? What do you think? Is Kier Eagan alive? What is Lumon's endgame? And what insane twists are coming in season 3? Let me know what you think in the comments below. We saw what was finally happening with the goats. It seems like it was some sort of sacrifice that was going on, so not some sort of clone thing. Ultimately, my overall theory about what was happening with macro data refinement was true, that they were actually aiding in the testing of this technology on Gemma, and it turns out that Mark was kind of building out new personalities for Gemma. I don't know about you all, but one of my favorite things from this episode was finally seeing Mr. Drummond get what was coming to him. That fight scene was the most peak level event in that entire episode. I was literally on the edge of the couch, just so happy that that finally happened. Also, the goat lady that came out and ended up, sticking it to him in a royal way was really awesome. And also funny writing that when Mark goes down the elevator, he switches into his outer self and has no idea what's going on. And then we see the end of Mr. Drummond in a very ironic, sort of kind of funny way. I love that about this episode. That was my favorite thing. Let me know what you thought about the fight scene and what ultimately happened to Mr. Drummond and if it was justified or not.